it's tougher in their situation because every single one of those times where you can't quite lock it out, even with the growth, improvement, and possibility of, well, I guess refreshment in this new split, it just hurts that little bit extra. And well, if they can have a good run here against BDS, it's one of those things where this is probably a game for them. If they can test this game, they can leave with some kind of good notes in the books. If they can get something out of this game, it could be the start of something proper.
Just a good game is not enough here for Vitality, Fluke. They need to get points. One or plural. It doesn't matter. They need points. They cannot be satisfied with 0. Yes, of course, you can still put up a good fight, but it's not what you currently need in your current position that you're in. And, well, BDS is never an easy opponent. And many will most likely just mark it down as this will be a tough match. We might not expect to get points here today, but Vitality, they definitely need them.
Well, with a standard set of bans we're seeing come through on a standard map, let's see if this is a standard day at the office for BDS. Talking of the hopes of Vitality, we've got to realize something about BDS is they just do not care. They're here to do one thing, and that is play Siege exceptionally right now. And for a lot of people, they are a step above not just their opponents on the day-to-day, but every other team around. They are exceptional right now. And they're kind of marking and planting a big French flag saying, we are the best. And to be honest, it's kind of hard to argue with their recent results and performance.
They have everything to back it up. Currently topping every leaderboard they can find themselves in. They won the major as well. Yes, you might slip up a game here and there, but overall, this is a very consistent BDS. Hard to beat. Hard to get the better of. You might get close, but that is all you'll get. And that is the task that Vitality is looking into today. Will we be able to make it harder than hard, to actually get a point out here today, to actually get 3 points out here today potentially? Because BDS is basically, it's like taking down the Kings in some form, right?
Yeah.
Like it's big bragging points if you manage to take them down here today.
And the French have a history of that.
Of bragging?
No, of taking down kings.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Okay, we don't have to go all into the beheading and stuff like that.
Well, you never know. I mean, if you're looking at that situation, I know Milos kind of hinted towards the long history of Vitality as an organization and the kind of flag it flies. Hey, this is it. This is the upsurge. This is the possibility of really leaving your mark and putting yourself in the sense of revolution. What is a revolution in France, if not starting with the beheading of royalty? And you have 5 members of it right in front of you. Go for it. See what you can do.
Starting to get a little bit afraid by the analogy you're making. I know we're playing a shooter.
It's a video game, Hat. They're not really...
I'm not ready to see the heads rolling yet in
Okay.
this game, okay?
They're not really...
Where's the
trying to hurt each
guillotine?
other. I think that's an operator coming... Oh, no, I can't say that. That's a spoiler.
Oh, you're spoiling it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Why do you say that?
Oh, well, what I'm not spoiling so far is a slow and steady push. We saw Clubhouse earlier today. We saw it from 2 teams that are obviously having a little bit of a mixed bag in Tempera and Empire, and, well, it was a tightly contested affair all the way down to the end. These 2, we might expect a little bit more pepper and fire because BDS take no prisoners, and they're happy to drone their way ahead. And with the double up here of Hungry and Rise on the same staircase, waiting for someone to try and swing on, Alems is the possibility of confrontation, but he could also just hold if needs to, as we can see the rest of the bodies of BDS making quick work of all the hatches, and the rest they need to on the opposite side.
This is a bait. This is a bait. This is a textbook bait. Hungry is down here. He hasn't been droned. Rise is the one that puts all the pressure down, and as soon as the Lamps will be moving, oh no, he got thrown down. That's unfortunate, and now they need to fall back, but it was an attempted bait, and as the Lamps now manages to take control of the garage storage, he's not going to be able to put a single point of damage into the members of Vitality, but they're both forced back into sight, and that means they now need to deal with just a couple of angles rather than having to worry about potential rotates and flanks as well.
What we just heard out the corner there was those ex-Kairos being caught by the Kaid Claw on Moto. It was just taken as we saw Shaiko rotating with full confidence back towards Kitchen, and that's a little bit out of an arsenal and is going to make the pressure you can apply to the back of Church a little bit tougher. They still have Ace. He is on the board in a situation where you assume he still has charges. there's still work to be done by Hard Destructors. Is there any situation in this map? And, well, with the pressure coming from above, let's see if Shaiko still has enough in the canister. Well, usually, of course, he does. He is the force to reckon with, but also when you're stepping up to the level that Renshiro has, well, I guess it gives you a situation for the others to lead in. Swaps to one weapon and almost swaps to the second player as Rai is able to swing around and get a little bit of revenge there. Almost caught him before he was able to put the man out of the misery, but with Brede dropping the diffuser and getting it dug in around the back of Armory, Fabian is trying to rotate back round. The canisters and the impacts do enough.
Did enough indeed. Shaiko now trying to move through as he picks up one kill. The plant again will be stuck as Rafal managed to pick it up. The cover will be there. Actually won't be, as Bibi will be able to pick up Shaiko, who wanted to go for the cover as he is the last man standing. It's a 1-on-2 situation, finding a giant sniper rifle and a sledge, who is Rafal. But it's eventually going to be Renshiro to get that final kill, and BDS to pick up round number 1. After they just stopped the diffuser on Vitality's side, they just weren't ready for the next 3 members to be rolling in.
That's the thing I was kind of talking about before. A little bit with Shaiko before a lot of it started to kick into action is yes. The history of BDS is one of those sort of affairs where it started a long time ago. Statistics I actually quoted at the beginning of this when we were looking at the hopes and dreams of Rogue before, where in their debut season at this tier as a roster, as a 5, they strung 4 losses together, and they found themselves at the bottom of the board at the end of Season 11, and, well, since then, they have become this force, and since then, it's not just the Shaiko show. It's a show where each of these members of the rosters is yet another monster that steps up and steps into any challenge that seems to get laid before them. They drop the diffuser, as you said, and as we saw, but then, well, there's the rest of BDS, and that seems to be the consistency. I said Renshiro has been having an outstanding performance this season, and he goes and gets a triple kill on the opening round.
Well, there we have it. Round number 2, Vitality opting to go for the gym and bedroom. Anchor holes being created, which is sometimes followed up by a reinforcement in the middle of the gym wall, which makes it a little bit harder to stop anybody planting right behind the weights. But look at Vitality completely expanding out to CCTV cache, reinforcing every single wall they can find, and here you see portrayed all these anchor holes, no reinforcements, which makes it a lot harder to get the plant down inside there.
Wow, a very strong extension over to the CCTV site here. Are they trying to bait a bit of attention with Fabian playing up underneath? But the collapse is going to come pretty quick, pretty fast from the members of BDS. Concerned about the quick swing run out there to make sure they don't get caught by anyone going a bit long on strip. They've obviously read that a couple of bodies of Vitality are a bit spread out, and, well, Vitality have read that attention is coming. And they got to try and get back to gym now. Whatever they were attempting didn't quite work, and wait, what team was it who tricked BDS into going onto the wrong site?
Not sure, actually.
It was a UK team.
I remember it happening.
I think it might have been Crazy. Yeah, it was Crazy X M&M.
Oh, it's a long time ago, indeed, yeah.
Tricked them into attacking the wrong site. I think Vitality might have tried to double down on that, but it hasn't worked.
Hasn't worked. They learned from their mistakes, and right now they're just waiting to get rid of these Mew Gemmers. However, the Bandit trick is going to be coming in just in time for the actual Selma to detonate its first charge. And that means that the wall will remain closed for now, and they will need to deal with it a different way. And all that way would be to open up from this window, try and put some pressure from Jim and onwards. And as soon as you succeed in doing that, there is no way that a Bandit is going to be putting down an extra charge as soon as you realize and as soon as you start opening up onto that jacuzzi wall.
Here comes some idea of intensity, though, as they try to, as you said, pop jacuzzi. Gogo is dug in and buried with some semblance of security, with all of the already burnt utility from the hands of Bandit. Now, as Alems wants to try and apply some pressure down the straight corridor, Rafal is looking for a bit of a rotate around the side, concerned about the body behind the gym equipment, but it turns into a two-pronged push now, as the pressure starts to come from behind, and, well, that's a big gun, big line, and big position to escape from. Shaiko suffers a shoulder of damage, and Renshiro the same, potentially just from the attention that's coming from the cross windows as Bibu is out and about and trying to bite ankles, but he can't quite find those that are enough to stem any true flow of blood. Oh, there's some. 2 for Vitality, 1 apiece. Shaiko and Bride go down, and there's 1 more for the Trouble as Rise swings onto the close corners, but finally gets put down inside Jim. Renshiro is frantically looking for any intel from the windows, but with the Lems a little bit off the course in CCTV and still trying to dig his way through cash, well, with 20 seconds, it's not looking great for BDS.
It's not looking great indeed. Knows that someone is still in cash. Will be able to pick up that kill. Lem's able to start things off here. 2 and 3 situation as the time keeps on ticking down. They're both coming in from the construction side, hoping to deal with any piece of utility they might still find, but it's not going to be working out for them too well. We're counting down. 5 seconds left on the clock. 1 will go down in the likes of construction, and the other one will be picked up by C4. It's Vitality to win round number 2. They are drawing things back up. We're on 1-1. And that means BDS will not have free reign here.
It was very well played from Vitality. It started creatively, I think is a fair way of saying it, when they wanted to extend to the opposite side, and then it kind of quickly spiraled into, oh no, wait, this is going down over there, let's get over there now. From then on, they stemmed what was an attempt with utility. Obviously, the ace charge got bought, and then they bought themselves time. They were playing around on the other side of the map. They kept themselves aggressive, which I think against BDS, you need that energy, because it's one of those situations where BDS is so good with aggro, but if you don't start shutting them down before they're trying to shut you down, well, what happened in the first round will happen again, where they are already pushing their plan, and they expect losses and almost account for them, and then keep pushing. Their Vitality, they were biting, they were aggressive, they were able to start pulling them apart before BDS could set up. Not the easiest thing to do, but it worked. Let's see if they can work it again down here.
They'll have to try. Second time around on the bottom floor, not opting to go for CCTV cache first. Some drones being taken down, but that's not the end of the world. Of course, Shaiko, known as an entry fragger, even though he plays on that Hibana, is going to be using his utility as quickly as he possibly can. And then start gunning, start opening up the site, tearing it up. Not with the X-Gyros, but with his gun and gun skill.
I'm curious to see, obviously, how the growth of Vitality comes. We talked confidence a little bit earlier. We talked about how some teams it can be a little bit make or break for, and what I liked here off the go was, I guess, the history of Vitality. When you've had a slew and a run of not the best results for a team that knows that it can try and strive for more, and you're up against a team that has had the perfect results with perfect form, sometimes it can shake you a little bit coming in. Sometimes it can be a bit of a daunting task, and it can shut you down into more turtled, more kind of worrisome things. And I guess we'll only get the true stretch of this on the attack range of Vitality. But for now, as I said, if they double down into the attack of their defense, if they double down into the movement and the momentum, I'm really curious to see the growth. And I really like that Maestro cam.
Just trying to take down as many drones that might be coming down the main stairs. There is quite a bit if you look at the map right here. You saw about 3 drones being active around that situation. As right now, the floors and ceilings are being opened up. They're being sledged apart. And Rafal hoping to create a few lines of sight like this that Renshiro, for example, can use with that big rifle he has. Surely they want to get an angle inside of the actual church, and it is possible. You can get a really small angle. If you manage to actually get it, you'll be able to take down any player close to that wall as well.
Shaiko asking for a bit of assistance so they can get this hatch, not get it caught by Bibu yet again, who isn't playing against it, and you can see Shaiko's making sure it goes down. Oh no! They do catch it. He is jiggling and juggling those angles, and well, that very important claw that is causing so many problems for the breach onto Moto. That was the start of the push previously, and this time round it seems like they can't quite double down, and I think they've realized how important it might be. The frag grenade is going to be the final cost, and the final claw there goes out, but all X-Kairos were used on that hatch, I believe, and well, it puts them in a situation where they've got to make sure that they have enough left in the canister and enough left in Rafal, who takes a C4 to the legs.
Need to open up now on the second hatch with the Selmas they have available to them. Not sure how many impacts might be there. The first bit opens up. That means one more Selma is going to be opening up on that hatch. That also means BDS needs to use... Oh, actually, he doesn't have any left. So that hatch will remain closed. It's going to be just a line of sight. So that means also we will see a plant happening most likely around the church areas. That is the point they need to push now. That is the point they need to clear out because there's nowhere else they can go. There's no more heart breach available. And that means we will see that pinch coming in very soon from now because there's only 15 seconds left. They need to push.
15 seconds and only 3 drones, so they've got to go by the intel they already have, and it's going to lead to fruition. 2 quick kills on the entrance either side of the site, with another coming for the hands of Renshiro, and another as he just charges through the site. A team kill was the last one between Goga and Bibu, and well, at that point, with how things started to swing, maybe it was just putting him out of the misery of Vitality.
It's quite weird to see that the last kill of the round was actually a team kill to come in. From the team that lost it. That's normally not really how that works.
Yeah, it's one of those trade situations, I suppose.
Yeah, it must have been an injury or something. Like, there's no other way. But yeah.
Accidents happen. Workplace
accidents happen. And that means BDS now have the lead again, even though... Well, BB2 did such a good job at tricking out as much heart breach as they potentially could, and as well as the players in Armory, not sure who they were because we had a lot of focus down onto the motorcycle hatch. Managed to trick 2 of the Selmas as well, which basically made it that they only had 1 hatch open up, and that is all they could work with. And they did it perfectly. BDS, they made it work as they dropped down and worked their way down blue, in the same time pushing down motorcycle in the main hallway. It was enough for them, but it might not have been enough for any other team.
I think one of the great things that we've seen so much and so far from Vitality is burning utility, burning the economy that BDS are trying to spend on these attacks. And it's down to obviously the skill of your Kaid player and your Bandit player, which is filled by Bibu and Goga, 2 highly skilled and historic utility players that are really making it work, but also subbed into that with the Mute of Fabian. This is a team that, with its knowledge and with its deep kind of understanding of the economy and of the setup of utility in this game, could really do wonders against the less experienced team. And so far, it could have gone a little bit of a different way if gunfights do, as they always do in this game. But you've got to give credit to how Vitality are playing this game, how they're kind of monitoring and matching what BDS want to apply to sites and limiting severely the structural integrity that they can put together on their attacks.
Cam quickly taken out. We'll be denying any further information that Vitality might be able to get from that side at least. Sometimes you see the Valkyrie plays doubling down on a certain side, but I doubt that Rise put up 2 Valkyrie cams outside on that tree. Just in case, the first one will be spotted down quickly. So Renshiro now will be peppering through some 50 cows just to open up. Actually, it was a second cam, it just got taken down. But as he peppers down, trying to get some extra control on the Raptors, it's definitely Rise that is thinking twice now before actually peeking on into that window.
Well, restructuring and resetting themselves with an eye towards the opposite side. They very quickly learn where the push is coming from, and as I said, with the huge experience that Vitality has as a roster, they know how to respond strategically and tactically to make sure that they have themselves set up in a position to utilize what is in their pockets effectively. With the big rotation coming from Hungary as well, they have the option to obviously try and apply the pressure or just keep a lockdown onto red and make sure nobody sneaks up and creeps up behind the push here and applies the pincer. But it seems fully structured and stressed from this construction side. A frag grenade drops a shield, an important bit of tactical hold there, and they're going to start trying to put the pressure onto the wall itself to dig the diffuser in on the close corners. With the swing coming from Shaiko, a person who is always ferocious with a gun in close and far and any kind of proximity, and the drone of Bride working overtime, well, it's who will get the first blood here.
Have to say, really like the double electric claw. We saw one on the left side of the wall behind the little doorway, one on the right side behind the little, butch that is there in the wall, just to make sure that the lances of the Kali are not going to be impactful. Rise, however, starts it off, takes down the first kill to Shaiko, shuts him down. Now tries to go for a second one, but will be failing those shots. It's him down, however, as he goes into the next angle to turn it into a 3-on-4 situation. Vitality definitely in the lead here as the lamp sneaks up the stairs. He's going to be able to pick up yet another kill, and suddenly we find ourselves in a 3-on-2 situation. One of the rafters is going to be the last one standing as Rise comes in, but will be taken down. Renshiro coming in with the SMG9, getting these final 2 kills. And that shows how versatile that Kali can be. You do not only have that big rifle to work with, to open up long angles, to open up long lines of sight, to one-shot down people on insane distances. You don't only have the lances to blow up shields or electroclaws or whatever you can find, but you also have the fully automatic SMG that gives you the opportunity to get up close like he just did.
I know a lot of our stats. Phase 1, Major, and Phase 2. I am so curious what Renshiro's Phase 2 and Major, just isolated, statistically are. Because I talked about him the last game. I talked about him the last play day. Everyone is talking about Renshiro right now. And this is why it is unstoppable. It's just this whole other level. If we're talking about BDS being this top team right now, what does that make Renshiro?
Well, he's definitely seeming to carry them a little bit right now.
It's not even that, though. It's not carrying, because the whole roster is great.
That is true. I have to agree.
He's just decided to, I'm going to become a god for a while. See you guys.
But first we had BDS being a god during stage 1. And then he died down. Then Shaiko and Rafal picked up. And then the Major came around, and Renshiro was like, you know, it's my turn. My turn to turn on. Yeah. But he never turned off. He never turned off.
Yeah, give me the superpowers for a while. Mom said it's my turn to be a god. It's great. It's kind of a loss for words kind of moment. It's
like he's supposed to hand on this, give over the stick to someone else in the team, but he's just refusing because he likes it too much.
No,
He's just like, no, it's mine.
He's done his time in the middle of the pack, and now he's decided that he wants to be 30 paces ahead. It's great to watch. Oh. That's all. That's just it. I'm so curious about those numbers.
We can pull them up right after this game. See how things went. As Shaiko will be rotating back again because there was a mute jammer down onto the CCTV window. And thus it becomes suddenly very hard to open that one up. Because, well, your only denial that you have against this breach denial is your Kali, who is currently on this balcony right here. On the pool balcony. So as long as he's there, you're not going to be opening up onto CCTV cache, and that means Shaiko's exploring other avenues.
Well, Gogo wants to try and play this aggro, and it seems like BDS are learning the lesson of how much attention is being paid to stopping this go off. Shaiko, I believe that was towards dirt.
That was towards dirt.
Yeah, on anyone who might be getting a little bit close. The attempt was made by Fabian, and there Fabian
There wasn't even a punch hole. There wasn't even a punch hole.
Must be.
He just shot. And he got him.
Must be a drone. You would assume that the intel has come through from somewhere and some way, and Shaiko has decided to turn head and punish. And, well, they've also punished this economy game. They've picked up what Vitality was doing so well, and they've stacked themselves 5 bodies. We saw it on the previous round on the attempted breach and push from construction. We're seeing it here as well. Unlike their previous push, instead of splitting up, instead of separating, and instead of losing that precious utility, they're saying, no, this is our step 1. Unfortunately, Rise, who stepped up last time, steps in and stops any progress there as Shaiko gets dropped.
Zerax is surely watching that window on CCTV just to make sure that Bibo, who's thinking about going for a flank, will not be successful. But as soon as Renshiro goes up, that's exactly when Bibo went for that peek. And that leaves us in this 4v4 with only 35 seconds left, where BDS yet again will need to find themselves in quite of a tough situation with the diffuser that needs to go down, but there's still 3 bodies on the site that they need to be, well, basically taken down anytime soon right now. As Renshiro is thinking about potentially dropping down the hatch, it's Alems from below, putting up some pressure with some impacts, making sure Jim is clear and is allowed to be pushed by his teammates. But as Hungry picks up Renshiro, that is going to be the start they need. It's the second kill to come in, but a grenade will be released. It's all up to BDS and Alems right now, but with 4 seconds left, surely this will not go their way, and Vitality will be able to pick up round number 2. And they're bringing it just back a little bit, but they need the other one to make this one an even split.
If I'm going to talk statistics, I'm going to talk what I want to see. Today, Clubhouse and Gym being the most successful defensive site, I think that's an interesting statistic as well. Because we saw it earlier. That was the site where, when both Empire and Tempera were on a losing streak, Gym and Bedroom was the one that they could kind of go back to and take. It's the only defensive site that we've seen Vitality take.
It's indeed the only one they managed to win. And the question is, can they replicate it now to CCTV cache? Because that is the next site they'll go to. The last site they will defend. As of course there is no overtime. Only wins, losses, or draws within regular time.
3-2. And they're looking to at least guarantee themselves an even split on the half. But BDS, they've been able to take this site before, and they want to try and take it again. Not going to opt for Church this time, Vitality's defense, and well, to be honest, they've tried it twice and lost it both times. This is 1 for 1 in terms of losses, but it has the potential to grow, because if we saw it before, it did start off in the favor of Vitality and then kind of fell apart when the push came up the back stairs. Again, if we're going to cite the age-old game of Siege and talk about those ones that you win, dropping a Lems in that situation, not to say it's easy, but theoretically, if it had happened, we might have seen a different run there. And I guess that's what Vitality are looking at, because structurally, whether it was a quick failure or a long failure, they failed both times on Church, and it genuinely seemed to be a little bit more of a structural problem. Here, they could have had the facilities and ability to pull it apart, just 1 or 2 things went away from them. And here, they might be able to find themselves back on even splits before they have to try their attacks.
Some quick ground being made here by BDS as they're running all across the garage wall and going into stock, potentially looking to get themselves an entry. And as the Lems drones out launch, sees it's clear, will be able to spot out that at least one player is playing right here in garage storage. It will be Hungry that will be the first to be hunted. The question I have, however, is someone ready for this on the likes of BDS? Is someone pushing down from the basement as well, trying to get a different angle on him? Because this is the second time he got droned out now. Still no pressure really coming down, except for a Lems on the actual window, who's of course not going to get peeked until he jumps in.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to go anywhere. He's got no business adventuring right now as the rest of his team does the steps needed on the opposite side. Shaiko's digging in the back of Garage. They can apply a bit of a cross-pinch and fire here, and Hungry pops a bullet and makes his presence still known as the drone finally comes through and around. This is when he might find himself under an increasing amount of pressure, and this is when Alems just holds it, and we can see the push coming from the opposite side. He wants him to swing up those stairs so he can take care of him, but in the meantime, Fabian gets taken off by Rafal. Drops him with the grenade over the top of rafters and now waits for a rotation to try and offer some supplemental support and hopefully try and apply some detrimental bullets to the brain of anyone that gets a little bit too close. Here is a dance still ongoing, and boy, howdy, it is slow right now. But the longer they're there, the more this plays into the favor of Hungry. And then he does something like that, drops the Lems, and now he's a little bit free and can put a little bit of fear into the roam and the cover on the backside of BDS. Rafal is going to look to apply the pressure back, but that gives the audience for Shaiko to try and apply his eyes towards sight.
Just completely denying to try and deal with Hungry, just straight cutting it to the site, really. As the ADSs will be taken down, a long angle is created right here by the CSRX. All they have to worry about is a potential player being active on those red stairs, but also Hungry playing down there in storage wall might be going for a bit of a jump out. I'm not sure if someone is still repelled up. Yes, there is. Hungry might be able to actually make this jump out successful and take down Rafal if they're not quick enough. The breaches are coming through, however, and that means an opening towards the default plant spot will be created. Is there any C4s available to try and counter this out? I'm not sure if Bibu still has one. No, he's not even using that C4, and that means they can just get the plant down if Brede manages to get it, because that's what he's struggling with right now. As they're all being taken down, it's all up to Rafal now in a 1-on-4 situation, and Bibu closes it out. Vitality to 3-3. And surely I would have expected that to go otherwise as soon as they managed to get default plant open.
That was it, though. That's the game that Vitality are playing so well, is structurally they have an idea of what they need to do, and they're able to do it. But these little firefights, these little moments, as I cited before on the backside of Red Stairs, where Alems was able to push through, it fell away from them. Here, with a great shot from Hungry up those blue stairs, and then from how things started to toy and crash together just after that, Vitality is strong. Probably stronger than maybe they could have been able to get a couple more of these rounds and find themselves in a bit of a better split. The challenge is here now, though. The challenge is applying that strength and applying that structural pressure onto your attacks. Can you pull apart the defensive guns that so far have been firing so well and, well, just get some, I guess, a couple of rounds under your belt now?
That is exactly what both these teams need. A couple of rounds underneath that belt, just to create a little bit of a buffer to go into the remainder of this half, because to be quite frank with you, neither of these teams have a buffer right now. BDS, of course, they were on the attack, they were on the less favorite side, they managed to get an even split out of that, but why don't, like, you know, when do we not have an even split in the UL? It's quite often we actually see something like that coming through. And it often results in draws right after. So if that's even the case, Vitality is in for a good one.
I mean, that's it. You've got to kind of hope. You've got to kind of see how it starts to move. And BDS, they're uber confident. They always are. And I think they've generally deserved the right to be with the Splure results. I asked for stats, and Dev actually supplied them earlier. And the lowest cost out of their entire team is 75%. And the highest, 97%, in terms of doing something every single round from the hands of Brede. That's a pretty good stat.
It's not just doing something; it's having a genuine impact. Yeah. Either killing, playing the objective, surviving, or being traded after you die.
Well, I'd say doing something is a quicker way of saying that.
That is true. It's a quicker way.
I didn't mean like they ran around the map.
I mean, dying is also doing something.
Yeah,
right?
I would say that's doing nothing. Do you know who's been doing a lot of killing?
Yeah.
Plus 23, Renshiro.
Is it Renshiro? Oh, yeah.
Well,
I guessed it was Renshiro.
Plus 20 on Shaiko and Brede, plus 13. All of them just got another little number to put onto those statistics. And, well, they're looking for one more. Swings onto Hungry. They're not letting you enter this building. They're going to just destroy you.
That is their plan indeed, and at least Fabian all up alone on the bottom floor, was Goga still trying to clear out these roamers. Will have to join his teammates soon, however, as Fabian just climbed back out of oil pit. You don't often see that, because it's quite a risky thing to do, considering if someone peeks you, you are toasted.
Yeah.
But okay.
It's dangerous.
It's dangerous. But it's 2-on-5, and Goga and Fabian, they are together. But they do not have that numbers advantage. They didn't even open up everything they would like to have opened up. And, well, what they did open up is not really that useful for a 2-on-5 take. You rather want to have different kinds of avenues to explore in that case. As Fabian now, in the 12-time zoom, hoping to find some feet somewhere. Because he's making quite a bit of noise, just crawling through the utility room, hoping to get into boiler quick.
Well, Goga's offering the cross cover here and hoping the hyper-aggression of BDS leads to more bodies. I say more. Bodies of BDS. All the ones dropped so far this round have been Vitality losing their vitals. There is a swing against Fabian, though, and they're able to pepper some bullets into them. There's a quick pickup, but there is the end of the round. BDS taking their first defense with most of the firefight happening on the top floor away from the site.
I like how most of the firefight happened in like the first 45 seconds of the round, and you know, we had about 1.5 minutes of nothing before the final 3 kills came through. 1 on the side of Vitality, 2 kills from BDS coming in. And it is BDS right now, 4-on-3 up. They are taking the lead yet again. The question now is, can they build that buffer we have been talking about? Are they going to be able to push this to 5, maybe even 6, and put the entire pressure on Vitality? Because that is what BDS wants. BDS wants to win. They do not take less than that. Whilst Vitality are here to try and get as many points as they potentially can. A draw would be a win in their eyes, maybe. And a win completely would be.
I think that's it about Vitality as well, is you're looking at what has been a rough couple of games for them. Because as we've seen here, and as we've seen in those games, they have so much potential and capability, and they've just found themselves a little bit stuck in not finding the end product of it, not finding the lockout that we know they're capable of, which it might not have been the biggest problem in certain rounds and certain occasions, sure, but as I said before, with the current success of teams like Chaos on the up and up, who are again another team that was stuck in a little bit of obscurity, and Tempera 2, it's this mix and worry that we can do better than this. We can do these 3-point games and we can find comfort. And yeah, as you said, they're in the position where they might be able to push for a draw here. They could push for a draw against a team like BDS. They could push for a win against a lot of teams. And I think just having the confidence and that under your belt could be a very big swing for them.
It could be a big swing indeed, as they're hoping to quickly open up here onto that CCTV wall. The thing is, however, that Rafale is ready with an Electroclaw to place as soon as Gogo wants to go for the exothermic placement. When the drone comes out, it will be shot, but it will give out the information that indeed Rafale is playing close. And that means people will be droned in from below. They need to take control of launch. They need to get the verticality going on and force the Kaid out of his position. And that means opening up from below, putting in a double impact potentially, or starting to buck open with your skeleton key just to make it that Rafale is not going to be allowed to play in the position he was just in.
Well, pings are coming consistently, and they look to see if they can find any of the encroaching players. There's the Spot and the Legion, and the Zed's going to give it away, but there's Bibu giving his life away to a Lems. He's able to take the first one just under the 2-minute mark. Going for a big rotation underneath to try and just keep them guessing, keep them aggro, and keep them under a bit of stress and pressure where you don't really know where this roamer is off to. Jaeger has found himself on the opposite side towards the main staircase and is waiting to strike and rise a little bit later. But it has slowed Vitality, slowed the attention that they're able to play, and well, slowed how much pressure they can apply.
So far, Vitality looks kind of clueless onto their attacks because BDS, as soon as you start putting pressure on them, everybody just starts swinging, and there's no way that they're winning those gunfights. And right now as well, we still see Goga waiting on Plateau, hoping that he's going to be allowed to open up anytime soon. In the meantime, Alams is just like, we got enough time, we got enough members. I'm going to go for a bit of a run out here and try and take down Fabian as he's playing on the big window. Actually inside bar right now, so make sure to not get spotted, because now Fabian knows where you're going to be coming from. He's going to be trying to hold that off with his big sniper rifle, or with the SB-SMG, the weapon of his choice that is. And as he is going on that hunt, he's also careful about potential other flankers joining his tally. His Vitality still not managed to open up onto the main breach, and I think that is something that really needs to... Oh, they actually just did manage to open up, so at least the angle will be created. Renshier will be pressured. With 30 seconds to go, you really need more than just that.
Rise dug in on... Whoa, I thought that was the smoke canister, but it was actually just the smoke themselves as they drop Brede, and look at this pace that they're trying to apply onto the site, and it's going well. Weirdly, with only the dying throws of the round left, they saw an opportunity, they took it, and it's taken BDS a little bit by surprise. Alems is underneath, trying to make his way to the site as quickly as possible, and he does it via Rise, but doesn't quite find the next. Dropped, and puts us into a 1 versus 1. The rotation is coming onto red stairs. Pre-fires through and tries to confirm the kill on Goga to stop the human camera being able to, well, camera. There it is, there's the lockdown, and knows roughly where the second is. They just have to hold this angle. Maybe waiting patiently for the chance to apply this pressure, and they need to force this gunfight with only 20 seconds. They know they can't take it in any straight post-defuse situation, so they're going to bait the attention. It's a tough angle as they can just be sprayed through the floor and through the wall and through the timers. Gone. Vitality 4-4.
Rise there, playing a huge role, moving up on the back stairs, able to get that 1 kill in, and allowed Hungry to move in through the plant as well. Or through the breach, I must say. Managed to pick up a kill from there on, and suddenly they overran the site. The players on rafters weren't ready for it. They did not realize what was happening. The plant went down, and well, that's all she wrote. 4-4, and we continue trading rounds. As BDS again will be choosing to run it back onto CCTV cache. Will decide that it was just a one-time thing. They just got overrun once. That is not going to happen again. They might change a bit of their setup. They might replace some of these Banshees just to make sure that, well, Rise is not going to be allowed to sneak up like he just did.
Yeah, it was a very impressive and important part of that push, because we all looked at the timer and how late it had been left. Or, well, I say left, you're always trying to fight to get the wall open. How late it was able to actually get popped. And from then on, for Vitality to full guts push their way and force their way through not only a defense, but a BDS gunline defense, shows a lot of possibility for growth here. And, well, 4-4, and it's a well-earned 4-4 split, and this game is still anyone's to play for right now. And I don't think a lot of people expected that with how the games had been going for these two teams prior to today.
Have to say, however, the attack of Vitality didn't look super clean. because they were kind of wondering for a long time what they were actually planning to do. It wasn't until Rise managed to sneak himself in, get one kill, insert himself into the site, that Vitality had a clear idea of what was going on and what they had to do. And you cannot keep on relying on that. That means your attacks now need to be more, well, let's say synchronized, more in according to, you know, how you practiced it. It needs to just be better, because you cannot rely onto that one single player, as I just said.
No, it's always a fair point. It's when you have an outstanding play win around, you have to utilize that as a bit of wind beneath your wings and say, we did this, we can step it up. And in those situations, it's not something you can fully trust on, but at the same time, you can build behind that energy. You can say, well, we had everything going for us, and we had everything not going for us, and then we were able to make it go for us. And here you've got to learn, and you can say, if we can do that with things on the back foot, let's see what we can do when we've got it on the front foot. We know what we're capable of. Let's push harder, push faster, push more aggressive. Talking of Alems, still deep on the rotation, came a little bit late to the party last time and lost the second 1v1 he had on that staircase, which, again, these situations, these little kind of misfires and misprints on the big old canvas of this game have cost rounds.
As soon as this double impact goes off, we will see Alems pushing. And it seems like Bibu is aware of the fact that he might be getting some company soon, because he seems to be a bit, well, trippy, jumpy about what might be going on. Look at Hungry, however. He's in the upside down rappel, just waiting for someone to potentially push. And as soon as I say that, Alems just decides to run off and will be going a different way. As Rafal manages to trick it successfully. The grenade, however, failed to get the second Electro Claw, and I'm not sure if they have any grenades left. And now Alems are coming from below. Might be able to get an angle down here onto Launch to shut down Rise, as he will be hoping to shut down that Electro Claw, the second one that is.
The dance of utility has been so good from both teams throughout this entire game. And yet again, we find ourselves in this situation where everybody's taking a little bit of a bump and a little bit of a scrape, but they are steadily approaching their goals and the possibility of making some success. That was a little bit of a misfire, obviously, on the canister of the ace. No fault there from any of the players, just one of those things that happens, and I'm sure the frustrations will be something that can hopefully fuel them a little bit more aggro inside. They finally get their way through after the misprint of the first, and then they're able to apply all of this intense pressure to Lesion. Goodbye. Renshiro slowly crept towards his own demise and didn't see it long enough to be able to creep away, and now this is the pace that they had before. Last time it was successful. Can they double down on that success? There goes one outside. Shaiko swings onto Bebo and swings onto the open hatch and the open wall and the open firefight and the open man inside the top as well, and one more for the trouble. A triple across rafters as the aggression comes now from Hungry, who's digging himself around the back of the site. Skeleton keys through a man and the wall itself, and then drops with an ace from Shaiko.
An ace, oh my god, Shaiko just popping up here. First getting the one kill onto the balcony, then two onto rafters, and then just chasing the last few down with the pistol as well. An ace is exactly what BDS needed here to get into that 5th round. But again, are they going to be able to build for that buffer, or is it going to be Vitality that fights back right now and instantly take the round and we continue on trading?
One of the things that we always see from Shaiko is aces out of nowhere, which is a weird thing to cite as something you always see, but there was one, I mean, there was definitely a couple of 4Ks out of nowhere last week. I don't know if that was an ace, but he just turns it on, where he's like, okay, I'm going to go here now, and everybody is going to die.
It's like, you know, guys, this is the round.
Yeah.
You know, like, don't kill them. I'll take care of it. I'm feeling it.
He realized, yeah.
That's
Renshiro was 5 kills ahead, so he was like, I need to catch up.
I cannot get too out of hand, you know, and
no.
Now managed to draw up with him and be like, you know, you're not the only king in this lineup. I know how to click heads too. Let me demonstrate in this one round. As well, demonstrate he did.
5-4. Now, and Vitality, well, we've already talked about their capabilities of being able to pull this back. Last time, it didn't quite go their way. If you remember, which I'm sure Vitality probably want to forget. A lot of the bodies were dropped on the roam clear, and it's not great when you're attacking a site as heavily fortified as this. So we've seen Vitality learn lessons before and adapt when they're on their CCTV defense. Can they learn them on their attack here towards the basement? Can they try and keep their bodies alive as they put BDSs in the ground on what is a very big aggressive roam? Can they make sure that they have enough left in their roster and their ranks to be able to apply the appropriate pressure towards this basement site and hold? It's going to start, as it usually always does, with a little bit of droning, a lot of coaxing, and a slow and steady clear of these top 2 floors.
Slow and steady clear will come to an end soon as the drones are getting all the information that they will bring with them. They'll be aware now that not a single body of BDS will be on the roam. They're all going to be on site, or at least on the bottom floor. And they will be trying to put pressure from there on forward. They're going to be hoping that Vitality is taking their, well, time in trying to open up all these hatches, and as a process, will not have enough time to go for an eventual execute. First hatch opens up. That is going to be the start of things. The question is, will they be able to open up many more?
Ooh, the shoulder gives a little bit of the game away, but Fabian fires enough free bullets and then a couple more towards the leg, seeing all the bits that aren't really that important of bodies right now and not enough to be able to start trying to put them in the ground. But a minute 30 and the pressure coming downwards, this is much better in the hands and the books of Vitality. Whether it was just because they cleared quickly or whether it's BDS trying plan B, either way, it's down to BDS to try and prove it. The claw doesn't catch the hatch, and that puts Rafal in a very tricky situation.
Sit still, do not move. They might not be able to see you. There might be dinosaurs, I'm not sure, but that's definitely a strategy now. Just try and not give away your game, as he will be firing some shots, and that definitely means he will be spotted out. This will be a fight for survival as he tries to get away. Shaiko, however, will be starting it off if he takes down Rice. Will be going for a second one as he gets it down into Goga. Somehow, it's Fabian, however, to respond to Rafal, who will go down. That is finally that kill that they had to pick up a long time ago already. But as Goga got down, they got more out of it than they should. Shaiko picks up yet another kill. That should be on 3 right now, but it was Goga that survived. And with 36 seconds left on the clock, Vitality are missing 2 players on their lineup, whilst BDS is only missing 1. This could be the 6th round coming in here for BDS. It's again another of these Selmas. Didn't pop off quite well. It looks like it might come back to them in the end. But 20 seconds left. Hungry getting 1 kill. Shaiko taking down 3v3.
There's another for Hungry as he starts to push his way. Goga has found himself inside Church as he wants to get in and stick that diffuser down with all the cover of Brede and Alems coming from the armory side. 8 seconds and they're so low. That is the big risk here. If Brede gets a canister even close to the lungs of Goga, it's over, but he doesn't have the angle, and it's Fabian that gets smoked and cooked and pressured out and dropped as the rotation comes, but Hungry is still living up to his name and feasting upon anyone that gets a bit too close. There's bullets and there's more as Brede puts us into a 1 versus 1. Goga's exceptionally low, but all the canisters are gone. It's just going to come down to bullets spraying and, well, hoping they pray well in this battle for the back of Church. Creeping around the back of Moto, the debris gives it away, and Goga puts Vitality back in equal footing. After things started a bit wrong in that round, everything seemed to flicker a little bit right.
I was gonna say, who else than Brede can make that clutch happen, because he's so often the one that does it for BDS, but not this time. Goga shut him down just in time, and that gives us a real fight right here. It's a true sprint to the end. 2 more rounds, and we will crown a winner, or both will be losing out, as both will be getting a draw, as BDS is looking like they might be mortal here today. They had a slip-up, I believe, against Vitality in the French League. This might be their kryptonite.
Church Arsenal. We head back down to, and to be honest, from the books of BDS, it was close. It was a situation where they might have been able to lock it down if it wasn't the heroics of Hungary on the opposite side, putting in so much work. And well, I guess it's always that kind of moment and that kind of situation where if I'm going to cite this stuff on Vitalities, you've got to look at it at the books of BDS too. That Kaid getting caught out underneath and being in a little bit of an uncomfortable situation, dropped and swapped off. They're going to try a different plan and a different strategy in that situation. Also, with how we saw Shaiko bounce from one side of a site to the other and be able to put bodies down on 2 different levels, yeah, he's another level.
As soon as the hatch opened up, there was no way BDS was allowed to get away with kills there. Shaiko managed to get away with 1.5 as he got the down into Goga. Rafal, however, not able to make it out safely because that was his pure goal right there. Shaiko tried to keep his mate out, tried to give him some support and take on these gunfights head on just to make sure Rafal survived, but he fell. And unfortunately, Shaiko fell right after as well as he managed to get one more kill into blue. And thus the round went to Vitality. We're finding ourselves in that 5-5 now. It's a quick drop from Rice right here. As he takes that top floor control, we'll be opening up some extra rotations, just all to speed up this process of going from top down.
Well, Vitality, obviously it came through last time round, and can you thread 2 rounds together? Last time you did that was the last 2 rounds of your defenses. Here, as I've said before, you have played exceptionally well in being able to claw yourself aggressively back against BDS. This is a team of great skill and caliber stepping up against a team that is so hot right now. And BDS, well, they are the same boat. They know how to respond. They know how to take the fight back against Vitality, and they're looking to try and step up. Last time they lost the site, they took it with one man getting an ace. Can they step up the same on this basement?
They will have to step it up. They need this 6th point if they want to be going for a win here. Vitality are hungry. They feel that these 3 points are in range. They are in reach. They can be taken. All they need to do is chain up 2 more and make it 3 in a row. They managed to shut them down, even though in a bad situation the last time around. A grenade will be quickly taking care of one of these evil eyes. There's a lot of information gone of BDS and also plan denial potentially that they would like to use. It's a good start for Vitality, but there's limited time left.
Well, Shaiko's keeping himself buried in blue for now and hoping someone tries to apply the pressure onto utility, but look at this utility usage. Slightly smoother in the hands of Vitality, and at least able to get the ankle hold and the ankle hold down done on the back of the church wall with views from pipes. It's looking kind of good for Fabian. He doesn't have to aggro swing onto the long corridor, but to be honest, that was one of those moments where it drew some attention away and towards himself, and from then on Vitality were able to step up. Here, the man of the moment and the man with the diffuser drops down in Moto and then drops dead in Moto. Shaiko is able to quickly rotate down to Oil Pit and try and apply some reverse pressure the same way he did it from side to side last time. Well, he's happy to try and live up to that expectation again. It gives Rise the moment to drop into Moto and re-pick up that diffuser and re-pick up some of the pressure from the opposite side. Took a huge amount of damage, and you're worried about Brede with those smoke canisters, as you always are and should be, but you're at least picking stuff back up. And, well, Hungry picks one with Renshiro getting a trade, and another falls as well, and another falls as well as Renshiro starts to cook up on the other side. Bibu stops the run of Alems, but with only 7 seconds left and a lot left to do and a lot of angles still to cover and a lot of BDS on the board. BDS, 6 rounds, guaranteed a point.
Guaranteed 1 point, and are looking to continue their unbeaten streak, but they need to break what is currently going on. They need to break the trading of rounds onto this next one. It's match points, ladies and gentlemen. Only 1 more to go, 1 more round, and it's also the only match point BDS will get. They have 1 shot, 1 opportunity to close it out right here in CCTV cash. And if it wasn't Shaiko that popped off, it was Renshiro that picked up a double kill suddenly. And look at the 2 being on top of the leaderboard. 14 and 13 kills, both of them stepping up. Whilst on the other hand, we have Rice with 11 and Hungry on 10. So we have these 2 star players on either side really spicing things up.
I think that's one of the things as well that I would say about Vitality is they seem so well coordinated on what they're doing here. They seem well rehearsed, and structurally things seem to be going their favor. I definitely think they could get this point here. I think in a lot of people's books they deserve to be able to pull a point here. It's hard to pull a fight against the current BDS roster, and they've been able to make it look so competitive throughout almost every single one of these rounds. And I think that's the thing about their gameplay and their setup is it's so much experience, it's so much history, it's so much coordinated across the many years, many moons, and many metas of our fair game. And seeing it come together where you can see the articulation, you can see the parts and the perspiration and where it's been put towards their demonstration of how far that they can push their tactics and push their meta and teamwork, having it come to fruition and having the potential that they have, I think this has been a good day for them.
It has been a good day indeed, but as I said at the start of this matchup, Losing 7-5 basically means, well, I mean, it means that you managed to put up a close fight, but it doesn't give you anything on the leaderboards. You need these points, especially so late up in the season, and that means they need to get this 6-6 in. It's so much more valuable for Vitality than a 7-5 would be as a loss against BDS. And as they start opening up into the garage, you can see a clear plan is starting to form. They want to take quick control of the Raptors again. Grenades will be coming in. ADSs will be wasted surely as Renshiro picks up the first kill onto Rise. That is not a good start. That's your grenades gone. Bibu, however, is going to be able to land a response as Alems drops down. But it's a 4-on-4 situation with 2 minutes left and no grenades left on the board for Vitality.
Becomes a bit of a tough ask and a tough situation, but they've been able to pull through the tough situations before on this site. Especially now as they stack themselves up and start to apply the pressure above and beneath, they're looking to try and close down the possibility of a second man on their own, but usually it was only a Lems, otherwise they're all buried inside. To be honest, Shaiko roams inside the site and swings and gets an ace last time anyway, and well, that's always got to be a bit of a worry when you start to open sides and parts of the wall, so make sure you have everything else under control first.
Some utility being spotted out here. Hungry doing some quick work with the sensor as he just saw something drop there, not sure what it was. But he is going to be moving through, taking control of stock. They know one player is on the actual rafters as the feet stuck out of Renshiro. There's just not much utility they can use to actually try and take him now. And that means they need to commit the bodies if they want to get control of it. The Electro Claws will stay on. Goga is not going to be able to breach yet because Hungry is just not able to line shot properly. Probably a bear. Oh, it's an indestructible flooring. Of course he's not going to be able to get it. The right-hand side, though, is going to be opened up, and that means a breach is there. With 55 seconds left on the clock, Vitality have an opening. They have the even men count. All they need to get now is just an opening kill to start things off.
Show growth, show power, and show possibility, and there it is. Bibu getting himself a second on the board and taking care of Renshiro, two huge historic players in the French scene, and still battling toe-to-toe to this current day. And, well, it's allowing Shaiko to reevaluate and get dropped with Bibu getting a third for his trouble. 20 seconds, but in a 4 versus 2 situation with the first body being dropped against them, they are coming in leaps and bounds and they want to take one more round, one more point, and one more swing from Hungry to get one more and one more. Vitality! Another draw on the board, but it is so well earned.
A very well earned draw indeed. Some might say they were better here today, but it was BDS that reached the 6 mark first. It's a GG and a point that Vitality can, well, use pretty well, as they are, of course, in that danger zone. That 1 point is more valuable than the none we spoke about